right, man. Bill Cosby, through one of his reps or his publicist, whatever old dude is, called out Eddie Murphy for racooning on Saturday Night Live. It's the first time Eddie Murphy had returned since like the 80s, I believe it was. And, Eddie Murphy made a little joke about Bill Cosby to me, which was pretty harmless, but it spawned a big letter or response on Instagram from Bill Cosby's reps. So let's talk a little bit about it. We back, Goodfellas Sports TV. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Won't miss another video, and check out our music and entertainment playlist for more videos like this. And basically, Eddie Murphy basically said, if you told me 30 years ago that I'd be a stay-at-home dad at 10 and Bill Cosby would be in jail, he said I would have took that bet. Then he did the little Bill Cosby imitation with it. All right. But Eddie Murphy and Bill Cosby got history for people who don't know. Back when Eddie Murphy was super duper raw, like Raw, Delirious, and all that stuff, I think it was Delirious. It was. I believe that the story was that Bill Cosby gave his son some money to go to an Eddie Murphy comedy show. And Eddie Murphy was super duper raw back then. If Eddie Murphy was like he was today, Eddie Murphy would be getting boycotted by everybody, right? LGBT, PETA. I mean, Mr. T tried to whoop his butt for a joke he said about Mr. T on, he said it on both, on Delirious and Raw. And Bill Cosby said his son came back, was saying Eddie Murphy, he couldn't believe what he heard. Long story short, I think Bill Cosby called up Eddie Murphy about the raw comedy he was giving, and that ain't how you get comedy. And Eddie Murphy called Richard Pryor and to give Richard Pryor advice on how to handle the Bill Cosby situation with him trying to check him about his comedy. And Richard Pryor, said, F him. If he don't like it, F him and all this. I'm paraphrasing. So going back to the 80s, Bill Cosby didn't like the raw comedy that Eddie Murphy was giving out, and Eddie Murphy was super duper raw, man. And at the end of the day, we all know Bill Cosby been done wrong by the judicial system. We talking about 30, 40 years ago, some of the things he was accused of that you think would have statutes and limitations. We know some talks about him buying NBC and doing some big things on Netflix, and at the end of the day, Bill Cosby had this stainless reputation, and nobody can believe. And he was around here passing judgment on people not too long ago in this generation, telling us what we need to do and don't sag our pants. But at the same time, you accused of, drugging women, and how people supposed to feel. See, when you out here trying to push, you doing this wrong, you doing that wrong. See, you can't have that stain on your rep. You can't be doing the things that Bill Cosby is accused of. You can't cop to the things he accused of. When you out here trying to tell this generation or last generation what we did wrong, and y'all need to do this and that, and then you out here doing the most nastiest, things almost known to man, or the despicable things known to man. I mean, how you gonna criticize people? You know what I'm saying? Was Eddie Murphy raccooning to me? No. Eddie Murphy made a joke. Now inside every joke is a little bit of truth. You know what I'm saying? But no, I just took it as a joke. I feel that he could have went super hard on old Bill Cosby, but he didn't. And they got a long history of going back and forth with each other, man. But I think they reaching, talking about Bill. Bill Rep said, you would thought Eddie Murphy was free from the plantation, and he out here raccooning, code word, and all this other stuff they saying. I don't even think it was that deep. Obviously, do I want to see him kick Bill Cosby while he's down? No. Do I understand why he kicked him while he's down? Yes, they got a history. But it was true. Like, if you told me 30 years ago that Eddie Murphy, who was living the fast life, was the hottest comedian out, my favorite comedian, would be a stay-at-home dad with 10 kids, you know what I'm saying? And Bill Cosby be in jail, you're right. Like, that joke was harmless to me, dog. It really was. And yes, Bill Cosby, like he said in the letter, paved the way for Kevin Hart and Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. He was the first to win an Emmy. Yes, he was depicting a great image of a black family. He did a lot of great things. I get it, but I don't think this was Racooning. At the end of the day, he took a small jab at him, and we move on from it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got history. Use the jab Eddie Murphy, and say what you want to say about Eddie, and used to criticize the generations, how we was raised, and how we dressed, and how we talked, and all that. And then you go around and you accused of doing this, and you cop to doing some of these things. Like, come on, man. I'm pretty sure Eddie Murphy appreciate all the things that you did, the doors that you opened, just like Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and all the other black comedians. You know, but this wasn't no Racooner to me, dog. It wasn't. Like, this dude could have made a way worse joke, and then we could have been talking about that's the situation. I think just Bill Cosby a little sensitive to a situation. But hey, you live and you learn, man. And maybe it's just because I'm a ride with Eddie Murphy. That's my favorite comedian of all time. But I'm just, I don't think it was. But move on from it. If I'm Eddie, I don't respond to it. He take a small crack, but it was true. And he said the reason he come back because he got 10 kids. Well, everybody's wondering why Eddie Murphy coming back. Do we still got it? When anybody come back to something, it's always about money. Very rarely is it about, because they got new creative juices flowing. They want to get back out there. Man, when anybody go back to work, they need money. And with 10 kids, he need money. So it is what it is. I'll link that TMZ article with all the information in the description. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support. Want to make a donation to the channel? That link's in the description. One time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Goodfella. Don't forget, we on all social media, man. So check me out there in the description. We gone.